Hello, this is David Gilmore, known as LDS Prepper, and you can watch over 600 videos on emergency preparedness that can save your life at ldsprepper.com. Today we are talking about watering and how much to water in your garden and how to know if you're overwatering or underwatering. It is May 27th here in Zone 5A in southeast Idaho, and it's 90 degrees in the greenhouse. As you can see, it's just a few minutes before noon, and what you can see here on my sprinkler control station is that at noon my automatic watering turns on. Now I'm going to show you what I'm doing for watering and discuss what things that we've tried and things that you may be trying right now. This is the control valve, and at the end of each of my grow boxes I have a control valve so I can water all these boxes individually. When I was in Texas, I didn't need that because I had enough water pressure to water all the boxes at one time. I had 11 boxes. Here, I've got 4, but due to the small half-inch pipe that was installed by the home builder, we don't have enough water pressure. These plants were planted 54 days ago, and look at the beautiful size of these leaves and the health of this plant. And we're in hot weather. We're not in the hottest weather yet, but because it's going to be getting hotter. But do you see that any of these plants are stressed? Do you see that they are malnutritioned? I mean, they're just gorgeous. And one of the laws of the 6 laws of plant growth is water. So let's talk about getting your water to your plants and knowing that you're watering them properly. Over 5 decades and tens of thousands of gardens, Jacob Midladder came up with the system known as the Midladder gardening method to minimize the amount of work and effort and water and fertilizer needed to grow plants healthy, strong, and nutrient dense. One of the things that he did in raised boxes is he used 2x8 pressure treated lumber as a recommendation. You can use anything else, but the key here in the watering is to make sure that the bottom of whatever you're using to build the box is above ground. So what happens is, as we water using the automatic watering system here or any other method, you'll know when the soil can no longer hold more water because you will see the water coming out at the bottom. So you can see here that I've got some water coming out at the edge of this box, and then as we go down it's less, and then we have a couple spots you can see where it's coming out. So I'm watering just right where we're not wasting water by it flooding the aisleway, and we're not underwatering because the aisleways are completely dry. So this is a key component in his system. The Midladder gardening method is a system, and it's all interconnected. So you can't just use one of the 6 laws and do things differently and get the same results. You see over here on the strawberries, look how beautiful these strawberries are, that we've got a little bit of water along the edge. Now, how often am I watering, and how much should you water? Because I'm in a geothermal greenhouse and we grow vegetables year-round, the amount of water and how often I water changes throughout the year. So when I'm watering my vegetables that we're growing, oh look, I found a weed. How cool is that? Now I'm done weeding. That water will vary because in the winter we have less sunlight, plenty to grow food, but less energy coming to the plant, so the plants grow slower. Because they grow slower, they don't need as much water. And so in winter, I will water for maybe 1 minute every 2 or 3 days. When I first planted the garden here this season, I was watering once every other day for 1 minute using the automatic system. I'll show you that when the system turns on automatically. Then I went to 1 minute every day. Just like our small children don't eat as much or drink as much as our teenagers or adults, as the plants get bigger, needing more nutrients and more food and water, I increase the watering to once a day, every day, and then as they get even larger and it get hotter in here, then I increase the watering to 2 minutes a day. Now with the summer temperatures coming on, I've increased the water from 2 minutes a day at 7 a.m. to 2 minutes a day at 7 and also at noon. And so you can see these plants are not stressed at all, even though it's 90 degrees in the greenhouse. I don't like it getting above 95 degrees because that does present a stress situation for the plants. But as you can see, these beautifully healthy plants that are getting all the water they need also get all the nutrients they need in the Midladder weekly feed. And you can buy the micronutrients at LDS Prepper store to make that weekly feed. So your plants look as beautiful as these. So in just a few seconds, the automatic watering system will come on. And what we're using here in the automatic watering system is 3/4 inch thin wall PVC. You can see that right here. And on the bottom side, and I'll link to a video where I show you actually how to make these, we've drilled holes every 4 inches, and we've drilled 3 holes every 4 inches. And what that does is allows us to get an even watering all the way through the box. Okay, so it is noon and zone 1 is turned on for 2 minutes. So let's see what is happening over here in zone 1. There's a couple things happening and some things not happening. As you can see, as I move the potatoes aside, you can see the watering is going directly to the root zone of the plants. It's not getting the leaves wet, so I'm not creating a situation where I can get mold and mildew on my plants. It's also watering right where I put the weekly fertilizer, which is right underneath the watering line. So once a week I take the weekly fertilizer, sprinkle it down the center of the box, and then every day as the water turns on, it dissolves the weekly feed a little bit more. So these plants are getting watered and fed every day, twice a day. Now, after watching this for a few days, I could tell if I needed to increase or decrease the amount of water going into the boxes until I saw that I was getting some water out here in the aisleway. So as you can see, this is evenly watering all of the vegetables grown in the box all the way down the 30-foot length. It's important that you have a level growing area so the water is distributed evenly in the box. In a moment we're going to talk about how to water in a soil bed or in the dirt. As you can see here under the tomatoes, we're getting all the water that we need, and the tomato plants are healthy, fungus-free, because they're not getting sprayed with water. You don't have to have an automated watering system, but you do need to know how much water and how often you should be watering. For example, here I have a watering wand which I use once a week when I apply the fertilizer, just to make sure I've rinsed it off any of the leaves that it might have gotten on. If you are going to use a watering wand, I highly recommend you get a watering wand that is as simple as you can get it. No fancy things to go broken on here, and no adjustable head. It will take you 4 times longer to water your garden if you're using an adjustable head watering wand than one like this. So where these are getting automatically watered through the automatic watering system, if you're going to water by hand, you're just going to have to take that 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, however long it takes you to do it by hand. But the way that you know that you're watering properly is that you're just getting just a little bit of water out from underneath the edge If you're watering in the dirt, then what you want to do, if you don't have the automatic watering system, which the complete designs are in the Midladder gardening course book and in the video listed below here, then what we recommend that you do is make sure that your 18-inch wide soil bed has raised ridges on the sides, which creates a trough in the middle with a flat bottom, as outlined in the Midladder gardening course book in the soil bed section. And then I use a bubbler on the end of my garden hose, and using this bubbler on a 30-foot row, I can get that row watered in 4 minutes. And the way that I know that I have the right amount of water in there is because I start getting some water seepage out from the base of the ridges. And also, I just stop after I have 1 inch of standing water in that trough. I've grown both in soil beds and grow boxes. I've used the wand, I've used the bubbler to break the water pressure so I don't disturb the soil, and I've used the automatic watering system. What I have found using this system, it takes a half or less of the amount of water and a fraction of the time using this versus overhead sprinkling or drip tape or drip systems. I'm also doing 2 tasks at once, which is I'm watering the plants. I'm also dissolving the fertilizer that I sprinkled on top of the surface. So if you are using a sprinkle surface fertilizer, you want to make sure that however you're watering your plants, it does dissolve that fertilizer into the soil. So this makes my job a lot easier. First, because it's on a timer, and second, because it's doing 2 things at once. And one of the most important things I'm not doing is I'm not watering where I'm not growing food. And so this aisle here does not get watered. It's just a little bit on the edge of the boxes where I'm watering, but that's just, I need that for indication. So you certainly would not want to ever put your boxes below ground, because then you wouldn't be able to see if you've got sufficient water, because the soil tells you if it needs more water or if it holds as much water as it can, and then it's leaking water out. So I'm just walking through the aisle here. After this is water, you can see I've got some more water here than I do anywhere else. So the soil is saying, all right, I'm full of water, I can't hold any more water. But the rest of the box, you can see, is pretty dry. So I know I kind of got to even it out through the entire box. In summary, the amount of water, the frequency that you will water is going to change during the season. And even if you're just a single season grower without a greenhouse, it will change through the season also. When the plants are small and it's cooler, they don't need as much water. When it's hotter and they're larger. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that your plants are always crisp and not wilting or weeping or bending over. They're over 90% water, like our bodies, and they need to have the water all the time. Do not stress your plants out and make the roots grow instead of them growing produce for you by searching for water or nutrients. Make sure the water and nutrients are always available to your plants. My plants don't wilt. Before I started watering twice a day, I noticed one day when I was out here that they were wilting, and it wasn't nearly 90 degrees like it is right now. So that was an indication to me that they were not getting enough water. I went through this box, hand watered for quite a while until the water started coming out from underneath the box. Then I knew the soil was completely saturated, and then I increased my watering from 2 minutes a day at 7 o'clock to 2 minutes a day at 7 and at noon. And I did it at noon because my plants seemed to wilt around 1 o'clock. So just be in your garden. Jacob Midladder said the plants should feel the shadow of the master every day. And when you're in your garden, you're aware of situations that are small, and you can take care of them before they become a big problem. My total goal for this channel is to help people get prepared so that you everybody who watches these videos can get the same results. You just have to understand those 6 laws, which include light and temperature and water and nutrition and air and controlling the competition. Once you understand those and implement them, and you're in your garden often, you'll be able to see the amazing results of following those laws, like these beautiful, beautiful leaves here on this cabbage, and you will be able to grow food as if your life depends on it. So without having to buy expensive or confusing drip system parts that clog and cause problems and get damaged when you're working in the garden, buying inexpensive PVC pipe, using the number 57 drill bit, and following exactly what the book says on how to get that applied and implemented in the garden can make a big difference in your garden. You can be obeying all 5 of the other rules and laws in gardening, but if you're missing one of those laws, this one being water, all the others don't really make that much difference. You'll get something, but you won't get what you really could get if you're following all the laws properly. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if you are prepared, you shall not fear. I don't want anyone fearing that they can't grow a great garden. You can. Jacob promised it. A great garden in any soil if you obey the 6 laws of plant growth. If you don't have the Midladder Gardening Course book, or if you don't have the LDS Prepper Premium Micronutrient Mix, you won't get results like this. Stop by my store at ldsprepperstore.com, pick up what you need, and grow food for your family, because their lives may depend on it.